So, do you guys just want to start by introducing yourselves? Of who are you? Um,
Well,
and
I'm
this is going.
Wayne. Well, I guess I'm Dirty P, and this is Chosy from Chosen Company, both of us, as you can see from the flag in the background.
Mhm.
Can you fuck
Cass,
off?
you want to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm Cas, also from Chosen Company. Um, yep.
Okay,
Okay.
so
I'll also introduce myself. I'm Rachel from Protect to Volunteer, which helps fund volunteers in Ukraine, including Chosen Company. You guys want to explain what Chosen Company is?
okay, so we're a frontline unit, an assault unit. We became notorious just by being aggressive and taking on missions that other units seem to either fail at or deem them incapable of completing the objective. Uh,
Mhm.
and yeah, that just kind of became our thing. We get in Russian trenches and do shit with Russians.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, you guys are taking ops that other teams won't take. There's a high risk. And you've said, when you're going out, sometimes you think you're not coming back.
Even if you look up our stuff, like there's guys that post about us on Reddit because people ask like who's Chosen Company. There's people that make videos where they'll like sit there and talk about us and be like, yeah, these guys are fucking retarded, and they'll shit talk us.
Oh yeah.
And we just use that as we're just laughing because we're like, we do things that you don't have the balls to do. Like somebody has
Yeah.
to do it. Like why
There
not
was
send out
this
the guy?
one, yeah, there was this one advertising for recruitment or whatever, and this dude on Reddit was asking, oh, fuck, I think actually you sent that to us, Rachel.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, where they were like, if you go to Chosen, make sure you have your affairs in order because you're gonna die 100%.
There
You're not
was
gonna.
one guy I agreed with where he was like, I know these guys, they are insane, but they are the best guys in Ukraine. And I was like, I co-signed that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I
Not
remember.
100%. It's not 100% chance you'll die. I always tell guys whenever they ask, I'm like 100% you will be injured. I'm like
Mhm.
it's
Yeah,
just how bad and when. That's it. Like you will get injured. Accept that. Just don't be afraid
Yeah.
of it. You know.
yeah.
So this is my question here though, of most people on earth couldn't get over it. Like most people, if you told them like, hey, you have 100% probability of getting injured going to do this, are you going to go do it anyway? And you guys are like, fuck yeah, I am.
But I mean, this just circles, or it goes back to what Dirty said in the beginning, where it's like, just, yeah, I mean, yeah, just keep moving quickly, and then the thoughts won't get to you, as long as you
Yeah.
kind of like keep, yeah, as long as you just kind of like this second, okay, next second, okay, another step forward, like just do your thing in a way, and as long as you don't lose that momentum, it's not really too bad. It's only bad if you keep sitting for a long time and then slowly you can start thinking, and then stepping off is kind of like, ugh, but you still, I mean, you still kind of do it
And you,
because
you
it's
also have to think when it comes down to bonding, the best way to make people bond, the most efficient way to make people bond is you put people through hardship together.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, the benefit of us doing our ops. You go on an op, well, it's going to be hardship. Like you're going to go through something. Pretty much every op, we take a casualty, not a
yeah,
death, but like someone's injured, whether if it's critically or minor. Uh, so like you're literally carrying out one of your friends. Whether if you just met this guy, whether if you didn't, whether if you've known this guy for months. You know, you bond because you're doing this with people. When I first went to Ukraine, I mean, I can only speak myself on this. I went there because it's the right thing to do. What Russia's doing it's not justified. It's not right. Anybody could come up with any bullshit excuse, biolabs, all this fucking stupid nonsense. Denazification. I mean, I remember Putin was saying shit about super soldiers and shit. Like, fuck right off. Like, eat a dick. They're invading to try and they literally just want to take over Ukraine. They want to wipe out Ukraine's history. They want to wipe out their culture. Like the fact that they're taking their children and moving their children into Russia, they're taking women. Like, it's not right. Like you want to be
Mhm.
soldier to soldier, like go
yeah,
have at her, soldier to soldier. I don't know a single soldier that wouldn't go and fight another soldier. But when you're doing that shit and you're going after civilians and you're intentionally going after civilians, like no, you're fucking you're trash. And with me, I have experience. I spent 14 years in the army. I'm not afraid to go fight. So it'd be either someone with my experience, my background, goes and takes that spot in the Ukrainian army, or what, they're going to grab some random Ukrainian kid that's going to shit his pants. He gets 2 weeks of training, has no idea what he's doing, and then he's going to go out there and probably get schwacked. Like, at least with me being out there, I'm taking one spot. So in that logic, like I'm saving one person's life, and then they're also hopefully not going to have the long-term effects. I mean, will that matter in the grand scheme of things? Probably not. But I mean, that was my initial thought going out there, is if I could help one person, then I'm doing something right. And then I get there and everything changes, right? You start going through that. I mean, as I said, like, my first op was Provo 2. I think that everybody will agree that was probably the hardest. We took the biggest hit. So I did a lot on that op. And
yeah, props to you for sticking. Even
I'm pretty sure everybody thought
first op.
I'm pretty sure everybody thought that, like, I was going to quit, because I literally just showed up, like, a week prior.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, no, like, these guys need me. Like, these guys, like, I talking to dudes, like, different experience levels. I'm like, I can help these guys, and then you start working with them, and even though you don't like some of them, but that happens. Every unit, you're gonna have those guys that you get along with. You're gonna have those guys that you don't get along with.
Mhm.
You're gonna have those guys that you're gonna be talking to them for the rest of your life. But you also, like, when I look at it, I'm like, these are the guys I want to go into combat with.
Yeah.
Like, it becomes a brotherhood, and that's something that is very lacking, and I think that's lacking in a lot of our lives, and I think that's something that keeps us all coming back. Whether if we get injured, whether we go on home on leave, is that we still keep in contact when like, I'm in Canada right now, right? I still talk to the guys that are over there, and so talking to them, it makes me want to go back. Like, keeping that contact, because these are my friends, these are my brothers. Like, I've done shit with these guys that I can't. I go out and I talk to my friends back home. None of them know what I'm talking about. They have no idea they're like, man, like, I gotta go and do some overtime so I can go pay for my daughter's ballet or some bullshit. I'm just like, oh, that's rough. Like, my friends just got smashed with artillery, and like 6 of them are fucking in the hospital. Like, it's absolutely different. And it's like, you see the things that are so trivial that people whine about. It pisses you off. And it's like, I'd rather go and be with the boys and do these hard things, because you know what? Other people, the more that other people want to shit talk us and be like, you guys are crazy, you guys can't do it. And it's just like, maybe we are crazy. But the more you tell us we can't do it, it seems like we're doing it. And maybe other people need to start getting that mentality, being like, hey, maybe we need to push. Hey, maybe we need to go do this. They got to build those bonds. Then they won't have the attrition rate. Like, sure, we take a lot of casualties. Sure, it's not that we take a lot regularly, but we've also done a lot where we've taken casualties. Any op where we've taken a lot, you got to look at what it was. I mean, when the Russians started pushing, doing their big Advitka push, our guys were in the south end of it, and we went from being an assault unit to our guys were holding trenches, going up against hundreds of Russians. We'd have 16 dudes going up against fucking BMPs, BTRs, tanks, fucking drones, and dismounts literally pouring out of everything. And our dudes held the line as best they could. Like, everybody would go out knowing that they're going to get hurt, knowing what the odds of them surviving were, and they went. I'm not saying every guy did. We had a few guys that backed away from the unit, but those were also guys that never did anything. Those are, like, we had new guys that they got to the unit within a few days. They're out on the front line. We had guys that it was their first few days, and they were just like, nope, I'm out. So, like, we take a lot of flack, but we also do shit that, like, our guys deserve a lot of credit.
I think my experience from you guys is that you guys have a very high morale and really good team camaraderie that I haven't seen in other teams.
I chalk that up to we get a lot of explosions, so I'm pretty sure our brains are pretty smooth. So I don't think we can really compute low morale anymore.
Yeah, no, we do check on, like, the protective volunteer. Sometimes we just text you guys and be like, how are your TBIs today? Because all of you have them.
Guaranteed. All the time.
Yeah. Cass, you want to add anything to
that? No, not really. I think that he sums it up pretty well.
Yeah. Cass, what made you want to go to Ukraine?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend it was some altruistic reason. Like, yeah, it was. It's not right, and that was definitely a large part of it. But also, like, 30p summed it up pretty well. You just kind of miss it. It's like, what do you do? And like, civilian life is good and fine, but it's just not. It's just not this. Yeah, I don't know. I just fuck. It sounds so fucked up, and I think that's probably not something you can really use. But I've never been happier. So it's like,
Well, that's the saying. Like I think it was like coined in like World War II, where anytime anything was absolute ass, like the soldiers would turn around and be like, "Best job I ever had."
Mhm.
Like, the
yeah,
shitty of the city,
exactly.
best job I ever had.
I hear that from a lot of you guys. Be like, I just spent 24 hours in a trench getting shelled. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And what what makes it good? Like, what is it about it?
Oh no, it sucks dick when it's happening. It is absolute fucking balls. Like it is
Yeah.
not a good time. Like I mean, yeah, when it's happening, you're like this sucks because there's nothing you can do. You're just sitting there.
Mhm.
You can't leave your position because if they see that you're just like falling back and you're trying to hide, they'll just send people into the position. So it's like, do you want to share the trench with the Russians? No, I don't like Russians. I'm not going to share my trench with a Russian. He can fuck off and go find his own trench, and then I'll go take that.
Exactly.
So like,
I
no,
remember.
like you have to hold your spot, and then you just sit there and get hammered. And if they just hit you with artillery, and there's nothing, you can hear it coming in, and you're just like, well,
Yeah.
here it is, and then you just kind of like hunker in, boom, all right, and then you put your head back up and you sit there and you try and watch your arcs as best you can, try not to get shot in the face, and then you got the drones, and there's not a whole lot you can do about the drones because those are they're guided. You got some dude literally controlling it. That's more personal than artillery. Artillery is just luck. It's just playing rolling the dice. You're just taking your chance. You try and find it. You try and find a spot in the trench where you're not exposed to as many angles, so you have mathematically the least possible chance of taking shrapnel if one does get into the trench. When it comes to a drone, someone's guiding it. Like that is someone, like they see you and they're like, I'm gonna drive this right into that person. They are trying to reach out and touch you with an RPG warhead. Like that is more personal, and it's because it's guided. They're more of a threat, in my opinion, because they're always a lot closer. You don't see a drone fucking slamming 50 meters off to your right into the middle of a field. They're always within a couple of meters of you. Then that's always a threat. Then you got the dropper drones, right? It's like you're sitting out there and you're just getting fucked, and you're just like, this is ass. And the whole time the sun is up, you're just pretty much waiting to get hit, and you're just playing the most intense game of dodgeball ever invented. And when the sun goes down, if you're still there and you're still all in one piece, you did a pretty good job. And then next day, you do it all over again. So while it's happening, it sucks. But the shittiest things, the most gruesome things, the most terrifying things, when they're happening, you're just dealing with it as it happens. And that's all that you can do. When you got the drones above you, you try and deal with that. You got to change your perspective, make your world as small as possible. The whole situation, does it suck? Oh, absolutely. But what's your current issue? Oh, that drone above me? Cool. Either put some rounds in that drone and get rid of it, or deal with it. You see it, drop a grenade. Make sure it doesn't hit you, dodge it. Do whatever you can. Deal with the problem as it occurs, and keep your world small so that you're not stressing out too much, because you can't control everything. You can only control your little 1 meter by 1 meter piece of land that's right next to you. So you just got to try and keep your head into it, and then that's how you survive that. In my opinion, that's how I look at it. And then when it's all over and done with, you sit there with the boys and you be like, "Yo, this happened, that happened." Everybody tells about because you could have 12 guys in a trench. Every person is going to have different experience for that exact same time period for these same events, because everybody perceived it different. Everybody had different things. One guy on the left side, shovel. When we were in shovel, where my team entered, we got ass fucked with artillery and fucking mortars. Like we got gassed. We got fucking. I think I got hit with like 3 suicide drones. Like it was just, oh man, like that was not. What are you eating? Oh, we just got completely like fucked up. Like that, I went to the hospital because I had so many massive explosions by me. I had a TBI. Then it turns out I had traumatic blast damage to my organs. So my organs were like rupturing inside me. Not a fun time. Don't recommend.
Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, it was not comfortable. So then yeah, so I was that was that. But it was like when I talked to the guys that were over on the other side, so like the guys that were broke into the trench from the other end, they were like laughing. They're like, "Yeah, we didn't have any drones, we didn't have any mortars or artillery, we had nothing." I was just like, "Well, I'm glad that I could absorb those for you. Like, you are welcome." Like, me and my giant chrome dome just fucking sucked up those rods for you, buds. So same op. I mean, I sat there just getting smashed in for a few hours until they finally like one hit me to the point where it, like, knocked me out for a second, and then they pulled